Hello and welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
And we are here to tell each other about weird, freaky things in the world and for you to listen to it.
That's right. It's time once again.
That's right, we're here.
Yeah. Kristen, are we doing like a real back and forth thing with this? Or are we going to like try to keep track of like, yo, you went first.
No, I don't
went
care.
First. All right. Well, then what do you want to do? Do you want to flip
You
a
go
coin?
first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Kristen, you better buckle up because I don't know if you're going to be prepared for this.
Okay.
All right? Because what I've got for you
is
a terrifying creature from the deep.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Comes from the sea.
Have I heard of them?
La Mer. Oh, you've definitely heard of them. This, I almost felt goofy doing this at all. And then in my... it's not Nessie.
Oh.
And then in my research, I came across one thing that I was like, oh, I'm so glad I did this now.
Oh, what?
There's cool stuff in it throughout, but there was one thing in particular that I was like, oh, this is so amazingly worth it.
All right, great.
Kristen?
Yeah?
I submit to you the mermaid.
That does sound funny.
I know. I felt a little goofy doing it in the first place.
No, I'm excited to hear about this.
What do you know about mermaids? In terms of like monster lore? Because I know that they're just kind of like pleasantly like the Little Mermaid.
They're sometimes mean.
Disney-ish niceness.
They're not that nice in Peter Pan. They're like really mean to Wendy.
True.
Because they've got like a mer boner for Peter.
Yeah. In Hook, they really smooch Robin Williams on the lips.
Are mermaids kind of horny?
Yeah, they snare them in a clamp.
Yeah, right. That's what I was saying. They like trap men like for their pleasure or whatever. Yeah.
Their pleasure. Hide with me.
For my pleasure.
For my pleasure. 20 points to Slytherin if anyone knows that reference.
That's what I was getting at.
Really
so really
specific. Yeah. Ride with me. For my pleasure.
It's so
Leave it in the
weird.
comments. Tweet it at us at GTTUpod, please.
I would love it.
I'm not going to say what it is.
Me neither.
So I knew that mermaids in some form of lore are evil.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what lore it was, if it was frequent, if it was a common trope.
Yeah.
And so in my research, I learned something that was really cool.
Cool.
Like a really bizarre version.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
anyway, let's just get into it.
Do tell.
I think everyone watching obviously knows what mermaids are conceptually.
Yeah.
Half fish, half person. They're sometimes called mermaids, mermen, or merfolk to cover the two.
I like folk.
Merfolk.
Yeah.
I like it too. I almost just called this fish people, but it seems like there are a lot of other fish people out there, so I decided to keep it specially.
What do you mean?
There are a lot of like fish people monsters.
Ooh.
So I decided to focus specifically on mermaids.
Yeah, fish people be like the larger genre, I guess.
Yeah, fish people be crazy, yeah.
Did you read anything about the Fiji mermaid in there?
Of course I did. Yes, I'm very excited to talk about the Fiji mermaid.
I've wanted a tattoo of the Fiji mermaid for years.
Yeah.
But my conflict is that it's going to be an ugly tattoo.
Well, yeah, it's disgusting.
So
it's a
that's
disgusting
why I
monster.
haven't done it. I don't think I'll ever get around to it. I like the idea of it, but it's too gross.
Maybe you can find a cool way to do it, like a stylized.
I've looked on and off forever, and I've never like really come down on one.
The Fiji mermaid. Let's just jump into that one real quick then, just so that people out there know why it would be such a gross tattoo.
Yeah.
P.T. Barnum from the Barnum and Bailey Circus, a stud, a real fox. He's being played by Hugh Jackman in an upcoming P.T. Barnum like musical that's releasing at Christmas.
Very timely. Have you gotten any Amazon packages that are decorated with Hugh Jackman on them?
Really?
Like the actual box? It's not like a close up of his face. It's not as funny as it sounds, but it's him like opening a curtain. The box is all red.
Oh my God.
And it's funny to me.
Well, maybe it's just because I haven't been in the colonies for a while.
Oh my God.
I've been traveling abroad, you see.
Just miserable.
So P.T. Barnum had in his collection what he called the Fiji mermaid, which he said was caught off the coast of Fiji, and it was a little creature that had fish scales and hair. Yeah. It's the mermaid that you're all kind of thinking of a little bit, where it's fish from the waist down and mammalian, somewhat humanoid from the waist up. Yeah. Except its mouth was permanently open with its teeth bared. Ugh. And what it actually was, and I have the whole thing.
Yeah, go for it.
But it was like that a guy was traveling in Japan and found that evidently what they did in Japan for a while was frequently they would sew an ape. Yeah. An ape torso and head to a fish body.
This was a frequent thing?
Oh, yeah.
That I don't know or remember or something.
Yes, it was Captain Samuel Barrett Eads who bought the mermaid from Japanese sailors in 1822 for $6,000.
Yeah. Boy.
Fishermen in Japan and the East Indies have long constructed quote-unquote hybrids, which suggest that there are, other than just mermaids.
Yeah, right.
So half of a donkey to, I don't know, half of a bird.
Mouse. Yeah.
A little mouse head on the donkey body, sure. By stitching the upper bodies of apes onto the bodies of fish, which were sometimes used for religious purposes.
Oh.
Eads died, and then his son took possession, and later sold it to a guy named Moses Kimball of the Boston Museum. A lot of like kind of prestigious, respected institutions displayed the Fiji mermaid, which was like a total
thinking that it was a real thing,
not knowing what it was. Eventually, this Kimball guy brings it to P.T. Barnum.
Yeah. All pre-P.T. Barnum. Okay.
Well, including P.T. Barnum's time. It's displayed eventually in the American Museum of Natural History, which is the beautiful New York museum that I love so much. That has the blue room with the big blue whale hanging from the ceiling.
I know we talk about this like every time it comes up. Yeah. Is the blue whale still there?
I don't know. I've heard it's being taken down, but I've been there at least a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Fiji mermaid, this half ape, half fish construction was displayed in the Museum of Natural History.
Oh my God.
That's insane. So P.T. Barnum had a friend of his who was a naturalist, I want to say, which means like nothing.
Isn't naturalist like very close to nudist?
I'm a natural. Yeah, he had his nude friend.
I'm serious.
You're right. Like, no, you're completely right.
Okay.
But he had a nude scientist friend come over and look at the Fiji mermaid, and he said that he has no idea how it could have been manufactured, but because he didn't believe in mermaids, he was like,
there's no way.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna authenticate this. I'm not gonna like say that this is an actual thing. He kind of like refused.
Yeah.
Which is funny. But so the Fiji mermaid was being displayed for a while. It was incredibly popular.
Yeah.
And then there was a fire in which it was said the Fiji mermaid was destroyed. But Kristen, there are many people that claim to this day the Fiji mermaid was not entirely destroyed.
Oh my God.
But that there are many people that say this. I have the real Fiji mermaid.
Yeah.
No, I have the real Fiji mermaid.
Yeah.
And apparently only Harvard University's Peabody Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology has compelling evidence to suggest that theirs is the real McCoy.
Cool.
So conceivably, the Fiji mermaid is in Harvard.
Sweet. But I guess there were like a bunch of Fiji mermaids.
Yeah, and it's a disgusting thing. It's almost like charcoal black and gross and slimy looking.
I think they have one at the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in Atlantic City. I can't remember.
There are a lot of imitations. There are a lot of other creations.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was like they claimed that it was the Fiji mermaid or if it was like this is a recreation of it, but I feel like there was one there.
I saw in person a recreation of a Fiji mermaid when I was in New Orleans at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
There was an escape room place called Escape My Room.
Yeah.
Which was amazing.
Escape my mermaid.
Escape my mermaid. Authenticate my mermaid. Which was amazing.
Boring.
I loved it there. Yeah. Allie and I went. We solved a really difficult room, just the two of us.
Yeah.
Anyway, their front room is set up like just like a bizarre menagerie of curiosities.
Yeah.
And there in one corner was a little mermaid thing, which had a disgusting face.
They're so gross. I love the idea of it, though.
With like a fish body.
Yeah.
So gross. That's also where Rob Zombie, he has a Fiji mermaid in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, really? I've never seen that.
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Rob Zombie turns Rainn Wilson, Dwight from The Office, into the amazing fish boy.
Ew.
And it's gross and unpleasant.
Ugh.
Anyway, that's what a Fiji mermaid is. Yeah. It's not a real mermaid.
Right.
Kristen wants a tattoo of Dwight from House of a Thousand Corpses.
I just love the idea of the absurdity of the Fiji mermaid, but it's too disgusting. I don't want that on my body.
If you want really stylized and it was like a capuchin monkey.
I know. That's what I've thought of.
Thing with a fishtail.
That's what I've thought of. I know.
You could go really cutesy. And have it be almost like the capuchin monkey is wearing a costume of a fishtail. You know what I mean? Yeah,
but no, the point is partially the weirdness of sewing one animal to another and pretending that that's a different creature.
I know. Yeah, fair enough. So anyway, mermaids.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think we all picture basically the same thing. Stories about mermaids go back like thousands upon thousands of years. Some of the sightings go up to today.
Yeah.
Where people think that they've seen real mermaids.
Yeah.
Some mythologies suggest that mermaids appear as unlucky omens. both foretelling disaster and sometimes provoking disaster.
Oh.
The word mermaid literally means mer, M-E-R, is sea.
Yeah.
It means the sea. And maid is a young girl.
Yeah.
So it's literally like girl of the sea.
Yeah.
Which I like. Mermaids appear...
Chicken of the sea.
Chicken de la mer.
Yeah.
Mixing like Spanish and French and English.
Yeah.
Pollo de mer.
Yeah.
I don't know how you say sea in Spanish.
I don't either.
Mermaids appear in Mesopotamian artwork from the Old Babylonian period.
That's cool.
Circa 1830 to 1531 BC.
Cool.
Pretty old.
Yeah.
The first...
That's hella old.
It's super old. The first mermaid stories appear in Assyria in about 1000 BC. A couple of quick stories. The goddess Atargatis loved a mortal shepherd.
That's a disgusting name. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Atargatis.
That's a horrible name.
She loved a mortal shepherd and unintentionally killed him.
Oops.
Ashamed, she jumped into a lake and took the form of a fish.
Ooh.
That's what I do when I'm ashamed.
Yeah.
So like, just turn me into a fish and I'll swim away.
The hell with it.
But the waters would not conceal her divine beauty. Thereafter, she took the form of a mermaid, but not the sort of 50-50 human fish that we picture. She's said to have just been a fish with a human head and arms.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's not that different. And then it's just really, she just didn't have like a torso and boobs. It's kind of the same.
It is, but it's funny to like.
No, it's really funny, but it's weird that at first I was like, that's insane. And it's like not that far off.
Right. Yeah. A popular Greek legend, says Alexander the Great's sister, Thessalonique, turned into a mermaid after her death.
Yeah.
Living in the Aegean Sea, she would ask sailors, "Is King Alexander alive?" If you didn't answer properly, proper answer was,
yes,
he lives and reigns and conquers the world.
Oh my God. She
would stir up a terrible storm, dooming the ship and every sailor on board. So presumably she did that 100% of the time. Who knows that answer?
Completely. Also, I like to think of, even though it's like, it's a big deal that you would like stir up a terrible storm in the sea or whatever, you know, when you're in a,
Boom!
Close. You know, when you're in like a pool with people and you want to go around the edges to create like a tidal wave, it's funny to think of her just like going around the boat around and around, but like getting tired the way that you do in a tidal thing where you're like, it's really hard. Does everybody still want to do this?
It's really hard to
do. I'm sure with her powers, there'd just be like fury on her face and her looking like a badass, but it's funny to think of somebody being like,
boppy, boppy, boppy. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. Who knows that answer though?
No one.
Is King Alexander alive?
Yes, he lives and reigns, or whatever. Is that what it was?
Conquers the world.
Yeah.
There's so much answer there.
Yeah, it's
so
long.
much answer. Different interpretations from the British Isles. Mermaids have a similar job to banshees.
I was actually kind of thinking that.
Yeah. They can alert sailors of impending doom.
Mm-hmm. So they're like a sea banshee.
Yeah, basically Banshee of the Sea.
Banshee of the Mare.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm. Several variants of the Ballad of Sir Patrick Spens depict mermaids warning sailors they will never see land again.
Oh, boy.
Which is, can you imagine?
Yeah, that's bleak.
You're sailing at night. All is quiet except the sound of the water lapping against the side of the ship. And they just are like, you'll never see land again. You look out in the water and there's a person. What? Never again, never again. Who are you? How'd you get out there? You'll never see land again. Sometimes she says they are near the shore. And then there's a quote from Wikipedia, which they are wise enough to know means the same thing.
Oh, yes.
What does that mean?
That's
You'll never see land again, and you're near the shore mean the same thing.
Okay. That means opposites.
Like you're in a crash?
Yeah. Let's go.
I had no control.
Nose de la Mer.
I lost complete control. I apologize. Some have been described as monstrous in size, being up to 2,000 feet long.
Damn.
Yeah. It's like a giant
squid
or something.
Yeah.
In Eastern Europe, now this is the one that I fell in love with quickly.
Like a sailor does with a mermaid.
Oh, yeah. Basically. Or like a siren.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, this is both a mermaid and a siren kind of concept here. Rizalkas.
Gesundheit.
Rizalkas are the Slavic counterpart to mermaids. There are various versions of Rizalkas, but according to ethnologist D.K. Zelenin, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They all share a common element. They are the restless spirits of the unclean dead.
Ooh.
They are usually the ghosts of young women who died violent or untimely deaths, perhaps by murder or suicide.
So then they have to live as a mermaid forever? Why are they being punished?
They're punished. They live in the sea.
Because they should have known better or something, probably, kind of thing. Seriously, like if they were murdered, they put themselves in a bad situation, maybe.
I don't know. I guess some of like
why would you
what
punish?
I think about ghosts is like living in endless sorrow.
Yeah,
like it's almost just like an event that happens to you. It's not a punishment necessarily, but it's like you are the living. Well, not living. You are now the embodiment. Of regret and sorrow and misery. So you become this thing.
Did you say something in the beginning though about it being a punishment, or did I just make that up?
Did I? I don't think I did.
Maybe not the word punishment. I may have just assumed.
No, they're the restless spirits of the unclean dead. Usually the ghosts of...
the unclean thing made me feel like then it was a punishment. That's what
I guess,
it is.
If you are unclean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you're the victim of murder, why are you unclean? That's what made me jump to like, oh, it was like their fault for something?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. This is a section that I wish there was more information on.
Yeah.
This is really...
that happens a lot with these kinds of things, actually. Yeah.
Sometimes they may have died before their wedding. And especially, Rusalkas are created if you die by drowning. Which makes sense. Yeah. Rusalkas are said to inhabit lakes and rivers. They appear as beautiful young women. They appear as beautiful young women with long, pale green hair and pale skin, suggesting a connection with floating weeds and days spent underwater in faint sunlight.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
A little bit of the, what is the Harry Potter zombie? What are those called?
Oh, the people who are down where their voices sound.
No, those are merfolk. Those are mermaids. But like in Harry Potter 7, Deathly Hallows.
Oh, shit. What the hell are they called? Oh, man.
Whatever. They're pale because they've been under the water. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like these creatures are like almost pruny from being under the water. Yeah.
How would you search that?
I feel like I should just know the word. I'm doing a real...
zombie.
The opposite of a mitzvah. I don't
Maybe Harry Potter zombie will make it happen. Inferi.
The Inferi. Yeah. Absolutely. They can be seen after dark, dancing together under the moon and calling out to young men by name, luring them to the water and drowning them.
Jonathan.
Terrence.
Maxwell.
Hey, Timothy. Luring them to the water and drowning them. The characterization of Rusalkas as both desirable and treacherous is prevalent in southern Russia, the Ukraine, and Belarus.
Cool.
All right, so those are versions of mermaids.
Yeah.
Now here are some sightings.
Okay.
Famous sightings.
Great.
Of people who said, I just saw a mermaid.
Just so you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta let you know.
Yeah.
I just saw a mermaid. So here are some sightings.
Okay.
All right. So, the logbook of notorious pirate Blackbeard shows that he instructed his crew on several voyages to steer away from uncharted waters, which he called
Mer people thar be.
Don't sail off the map! The merfolk will get ya.
Yeah.
Maybeard is black. Which he called Enchanted for fear of merfolk, or mermaids, which Blackbeard himself and members of his crew reported seeing. These sightings were often recounted and shared by sailors and pirates who believed that mermaids brought bad luck and would bewitch them into giving up their gold and dragging them to the bottom of the sea.
Cool.
In August 2009, after dozens of people reported seeing... Very recent. 8 years ago this happened. August 2009, after dozens of people reported seeing a mermaid leap out of Haifa Bay, northern Israel, doing aerial tricks.
That's awesome. Like, how many people? Yeah.
What? Woo! Splashing back in. A little salute. The Israeli coastal town of Kiryat Yam offered $1 million award for proof of its existence.
Yeah.
Story ends there. Suspiciously.
Yeah, how strange. I can't believe nobody came up with that.
No updates on that one.
That's amazing.
February 2012. Now we're going back 5 years. Almost 6, I guess.
Yeah.
Work on 2 reservoirs in Zimbabwe stopped when workers refused... when workers refused to continue, stating that mermaids had hounded them away from the site.
Oh, that's awesome.
You wish you could say that?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, no.
I can't work. I want to, of course, but mermaids are keeping me away from my work.
The merfolk are getting in my way. You want me to spell it out for you? I can't go over there. All right, and then this is the one that I thought was really interesting. He's a historical figure. I would not have expected this.
Okay.
Christopher Columbus.
Okay.
In 1493, while sailing off the coast of Hispaniola, reported that he saw 3 female forms, which, quote, rose high out of the sea, but were not as beautiful as they were represented.
All right, I was going to say, Christopher Columbus is kind of a wang, so...
but I love this.
Yeah, we're not as beautiful as represented.
Not quite as beautiful as represented, which takes me to what people often mistake for mermaids.
Yeah.
The number one suspect. It's a fish called dugongs.
Real quick. I wouldn't just call that a fish.
That's not a fish, it's a mammal.
That's a manatee, right?
It's basically a manatee. It's a type of manatee. But I love that this is what this is what Christopher Columbus saw splash out of the water. It's like,
not as pretty as I thought.
Merfolk.
Huh. How come it's not hot?
I hope they have good personalities.
Well, you know how like some...
I don't want to do those.
Well... Give me another, wait, hang on.
Right, what about aft?
What would be, wait, what?
Bring her around, starboard side.
Oh, a flagon, that's what I'm looking for. Give me a flagon of meat, I'll see what I can do.
Maybe if I had flagon goggles, I would find those merfolk.
Look, I don't have mead goggles on right now, so you're gonna have to take it elsewhere, honey.
But look at these guys, they're so nice.
Oh, manatees are so cute. You know how like it's kind of a common thing?
We were mermaids? You're funny.
I'm not a mermaid, but do you want to be friends anyway? You know how like it's a common phase for girls to go through like a horse phase?
Oh yeah.
I had a major manatee phase.
I remember that.
I loved manatees. They're just so cute.
They are cute. There's that gif of that manatee that's slowly floating toward the glass.
I think that is so
Bonks'
funny.
Face. His nose like accordions into his body.
It's insane. Oh God.
So that's one of the number
they
one
had like
suspects.
a manatee necklace. I was like really on that manatee train. I think I like donated birthday money to the manatee fund.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very nice.
I'm very nice.
So yeah, that's what many people end up thinking that these things are mermaids. It is bizarre.
When you say these things, manatees?
Yeah, dugongs and
that's
manatees.
Insane to me.
But there's something else. There's a fish called a skate. Are you familiar with it?
Yes, I've eaten it.
Okay. Well, evidently, dried out skates. And we're literally like talking about like making them prunes.
Yeah.
Drying out skates.
Yeah.
Gives them a vaguely humanoid face.
Ew.
I don't have a picture I can show you right now. I'll put it up on the YouTube version.
Yeah.
And as a result, people used to display them and pretend they were mermaids, devilfish, angels, demons, or basilisks.
Wow, I'm very interested in that. That's crazy.
Very crazy looking.
Yeah.
I've already seen some pictures myself. Really weird. Real weird stuff.
Weird.
Some weird wild stuff.
Are skates like a big fish, like a manatee?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I guess I always assumed.
Scale, really.
I guess I always assumed that they were like, like salmon sized or whatever.
No, I think that they were mostly displayed in like little sort of like curiosity shows, things like that.
Weird. Huh.
Anyway, so here's a weird thing. In Britain, these dried out skates, which look like mermaids, are known as Jenny Hanovers.
Okay.
That's what it said. And here's why.
Yeah.
It's because they're named after the French phrase, Jeune d'Anvers. And then it got sort of like Cockney rhyming slanged from Jeune d'Anvers.
That's not even Cockney rhyming slang.
Jenny Hanovers.
That's just lazy. Yeah. That's just reading a word and being like, I'm not going to figure out what that is.
Let's make it normal.
It sounds like Jenny Hanovers. That's so weird.
So anyway, the phrase is Jeune d'Anvers, which I'm butchering, which means youth of Antwerp.
Okay.
And then that also didn't really explain anything to me,
right.
So I figured that out.
Antwerp is a place, right?
Antwerp is a city in Belgium where frequently sailors would make these dried out skates. Yeah. So it was like this big rabbit hole.
What a way to make a living.
Yeah, they're called Jenny Hanovers. Dig a little more.
Yeah.
That was because they were named Jeune d'Anvers, which is French for the youth of Antwerp.
Okay.
Oh, and that's because there was like teeth to figure out this definition. According to Wikipedia, in Mexico, these dried out skates, these mermaids, have magical powers and are used in healing rituals. I don't know if I buy that. In Mexico? Like in all of Mexico, people are like, yeah, this is magic. It's like dried out little fish
It can't be
faces.
all of Mexico. I'm sure that it's like, maybe it's like older Mexican folk healing or something like
maybe.
that. Maybe it's current, but I doubt that that's a widespread thing.
Real weird stuff.
Yeah.
A couple of hoaxes. Animal Planet in 2012 and 2013 aired documentaries called Mermaids, The Body Found.
Oh, I kind of remember that.
And Mermaids, The New Evidence. Which both dealt with telling the stories of mermaid sightings.
Yeah.
And sort of like hypothetical, what if they were real?
Yeah.
After numerous inquiries from the public, the National Ocean Service had to issue statements explaining that those documentaries are works of fiction.
Right, I remember that.
And the people that were shown in them are actors.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like, come on, guys.
I know.
Come on, everybody. Get it together.
I know.
Get it together. And then in pop culture, obviously, The Little Mermaid, which was a story by Hans Christian Andersen in 1837. In that version, when she gets to walk on land, the evil sea witch makes it so that each step feels like she's walking on knives.
Oh, my God.
They didn't put that in the Disney version.
Old stories are so crazy.
They didn't put that in the Disney version at all.
No.
Pirates of the Caribbean, they're kind of displayed as weirdo sharks.
Okay.
But they also
I really don't remember.
kind of feed on people in a weird way that I think was part of the reason why I was like, oh, these are somewhat antagonistic evil creatures.
Yeah.
They're very like siren-esque.
Yeah.
Starbucks. The Starbucks logo is a mermaid.
Yeah.
So I thought, it's not. It has two tails, which is a trait of sirens, not mermaids.
Oh, okay.
But even still, I threw this in just as a bonus fact. I was curious about it because I felt like this is like the one mermaid that we all see everywhere.
Right.
It's because Seattle, where Starbucks was founded, is on the water.
Seattle.
The sea.
Mayor.
La Mayor. We have to get to the mayor's office. It's because Seattle's on the water. And because coffee travels long distances over the sea.
Okay.
And because a siren calls to you.
Ah, okay, that works. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They want their coffee to like be calling out to you.
Well, it seems to be working.
It does the trick.
Yeah.
I love me a cuppa.
Me too, but only a little bit because I'm sensitive to caffeine.
I'm not sensitive at all. Starbucks, if you're watching, I expect gallons of this stuff on my doorstep tomorrow.
I'll take your lightly sweetened chai with almond or coconut milk. Boom.
You're welcome for the free plug. Annoying. And that is the mermaid.
Awesome.
I love the Rizalkas, the Eastern European
totally sweet
ghost with hair like weeds.
That's
pale
awesome.
Skin dancing under the moonlight.
Yeah, probably like a little green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of unconventional, but like, I feel like I do want to do sort of like mythological creatures.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's not necessarily something that's going to like keep you up at night spook, but it's really weird.
No, it's super cool.
Weird stuff.
Oh, yeah. All right.
And now we pivot. Now we dance.
Yeah. Pivot. Okay. So I have one that I had never heard of before at all.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So I follow on Instagram. There's a subscription box called Cryptid Crate.
Okay.
So if you Google Cryptid Crate, you can find it. And I follow them on Instagram. They'll have different, boxes that are based around one different cryptid per month.
Yeah.
And their November cryptid is the Flatwoods Monster.
Huh.
Which I had never heard of before.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, that's weird. And this company that I really like, whose shirt I'm wearing today, if you watch the YouTube video, you can see it. It's called Maiden Voyage Clothing Company.
Yeah.
They made a special patch for the Cryptid Crate November box of the Flatwoods Monster. And just consider my interest piqued, Will.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I decided to Google and learn about the Flatwoods Monster.
Awesome.
So the Flatwoods Monster isn't necessarily really a monster. The name is a little bit misleading. It's more of a proposed UFO alien kind of thing.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It also goes by, let me see. It's also known as the Braxton County Monster or the Phantom of Flatwoods.
Oh, that's such a cooler name.
I know, totally.
Phantom of Flatwoods. And Phantom is a really good word.
It's a really good word.
That's a great word.
I know. I like it a lot.
Everyone out there start using Phantom more.
We really should. I don't know why we're not. Spectre, I also like a lot.
Great. Can we be
I like words that end with R-E.
Phantoms of the Internet or something? I watched a terrible movie called Bedeviled, and there was a ghost in an app. And I feel like we could be maybe the Phantoms of the Internet or something.
The podcast Phantoms.
Something equally dumb.
The Spectres of Highland Park.
The PPs, the Phantom Podcasters.
What was our joke about PPs?
I don't remember.
There was something that was podcast related.
Yeah, podcast PPs?
Maybe.
It was on Book Club, Schmook Club. We were saying like our podcast peeps. I think.
That's what it is.
That's what it
our
was.
peepees. Yeah.
Everybody our podcast peepees.
Yeah. That's right. Okay. Yeah. So what was I about to say? Where?
Well, you were giving the other names of it.
The other names.
It's kind of UFO-ish.
Yeah. Oh, I know what I was about to say though. It is also in West Virginia, which is where the Mothman is from. Oh. I don't know what's going on in West Virginia, William. Yeah. There are parallels between these two stories, like a bunch of them.
Okay.
So what happened was there were these brothers named Eddie and Freddie.
Come on. If you're having twins, stop naming them the same name.
They're not twins, but they are brothers.
Really?
Yeah.
How weird would it be if I was like Chris and you were Kristen or something? You know what I mean? Like
Christopher and Kristen.
Doing that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Eddie and Freddie.
I know. So they were like playing football or something in like a field. This is in 1952.
Okay.
So they're playing with a bunch of friends and they see this like red fiery ball like go across the sky and land in a farm kind of close by. And they're like, ah! So they run back to Eddie and Freddie's mom, Kathleen May. And it's all the friends, and they're like, Mom, we just saw this thing. So they all together go to investigate the flaming red ball in the sky, but she grabs their neighbor, whose name is Eugene Love or something. Lemon.
Eugene Levy.
Lemon. Eugene Lemon.
That's a great name.
I know. That's why I mentioned it.
Eugene Levin.
Yeah.
Lemon. It's all raincoats.
He was a 17-year-old boy who was he was a National Guardsman. So she brought him for like protection kind of, and he brought his dog. So they all run. They're all like in a frenzy and like freaked out or whatever. They like run to the farm to check it out, and the dog runs ahead of everybody else as they're getting close to this big flaming fiery orb thing.
Yeah.
And the dog runs way ahead, and they're just like, all right, whatever, because they're all just like running hyped up. And then the dog came back to them with its tail between its legs, like scared. So they're like, huh. So then they got up close to this like big, weird, like thing. They don't know what it is. There's just like this giant. Why can't I think of words? Like a giant craft in front of them, like a weird big thing.
All right.
And then they notice they don't say a spacecraft, but like there's just like a giant structure thing, like this like orby kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they see two red glowing lights, like 50 feet to the side of it.
That's very Mothman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they look at it. I believe they have flashlights, and it's this creature that's like 7 feet tall, has kind of like a weird, like flat-ish face, and then has kind of like a structure, almost like a giant like cowl or something behind its head that they say is shaped like a spade, like on a card deck.
Okay.
And then reports are varied, and it's hard to tell whether this means reports were varied between this core group that saw it this one night or among the other people who have claimed to have seen this thing since. People have either said that it has no arms or like really long arms with just like a couple of fingers or claws.
All right.
And then a kind of like, they've said that it's maybe like an exoskeleton or some sort of suit that looks like a pleated skirt. Like this, like, yeah, just like a skirt picture, basically.
Scottish guy?
I know. Modest Scottish gentleman?
If it's not Scottish, it's crap! Said that a lot in London, which didn't make sense. I kept going like, do you know what that is, Allie? Do you know what that is? And she was like, stop asking me about this.
So then they said they saw it and they're like, ah! And it started making a hissing sound.
Oh.
And then again, in their account, it started to bound over to them, but then it got distracted. It looked over toward the big orby thing and then went that way. And they're like, let's get out of here. And they like ran. But then other people have seen it who have said that it was gliding toward them, making a hissing sound.
Cool.
Oh, also, as they were getting close to whatever the thing was in the field, there started to be this like gas that was like choking them.
Were you there?
Maybe. But like thick fog and gas that smelled really bad. And was like getting in their noses and throats, making them itchy and feel like choky and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
So, that all happened. And then they all went back to their houses. The mom called the sheriff and told him. And the next day, the sheriff went to investigate it, and he saw big tracks in the area where they were. He could still smell a smell. He said it was kind of like a burnt metallic kind of smell, and it smelled bad. And there was like this like gummy substance on the tracks.
Ooh, like ectoplasm or something.
No, like darker than that, like dark blacky kind of stuff. It seems like it was motor oil. So yeah, the sheriff checked it out, was like, that's weird. And then everybody who had been there had all these symptoms for weeks of like having like scratchy throats, like not feeling good at all, just like coughing a ton. The guy, Eugene, was like up like coughing and like convulsing that night, like really, really super sick. And then some of the other accounts of that night or right around it were that Eugene's mom said that at about the time of the thing flying over and the crash, that the power went out in her house entirely and her radio went off and everything, and that the house shook for 45 minutes.
45 minutes?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Long time. And then the Board of Education director in the town, or what would you call that? Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. The next morning said that he saw a craft leaving at 6:30. He saw a big like saucer leave the area at 6:30.
Okay.
So, you know, word spread. It was in the newspaper and everything. It was like a whole big deal. Let me see if there's anything notes wise about that night that I need to say. No. Okay. So not long after, it was investigated by hub and wife team William and Donna Smith of the Civilian Saucer Investigation. Which is amazing.
CSI.
Yeah.
No, SCI.
No,
wait,
but you know what?
Civilian Saucer CSI.
That's very weird. There's another CSI that pops up in this. That's why I was like, oh yeah.
Huh.
And I didn't write it down in my notes, but I'll have to go to it because I noticed it. Anyway, so is that not an amazing name? Number one.
Great name.
So they started investigating it and they got a number of other witnesses accounts from that time, including a mother and daughter who saw it about a week earlier than they reported it, like saw the actual Flatwoods monster.
Yeah.
And the daughter got really, really sick and was hospitalized for 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Which also happened in the Mothman case in West Virginia.
Yeah.
So these people really can't hold their monsters.
Maybe there are like ley lines around West Virginia or something.
Oh, I wonder.
What is it?
I should have looked that up. No, it's West Virginia.
West Virginia?
Oh, I should have looked that up. Fart knockers. But so just like lots of accounts of this kind of thing.
Sure.
So now let me go to the other CSI, which is so weird. I didn't notice that there are two of them. Yeah. This is the thing that's still around now. There's a Committee for Skeptical Inquiry. CSI.
All right.
So it's skeptics who look into things like this and try to debunk them. And so this guy, Joe Nickel, looked into this case in particular, and it was in 2000. He concluded that because like there are weird things about this. Like it's easy, like the Mothman or other things, to be like, well, you know, it was an owl, which is a thing I'll get to in this that people misinterpret. But it is true that like a ton of people saw a thing in the sky. There are weird things that happened.
Okay.
So he concluded that there was a meteor that flew over, and that's what everybody saw in the sky.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. And then the pulsing lights were likely an aircraft navigation / hazard beacon that people saw, because multiple people saw pulsing red lights that they thought were the eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
And so his thing is basically that there was really something that flew over these boys' heads and maybe landed in this farm or whatever. The thing that I don't totally understand, and it might be that I literally don't understand enough about meteors and things like this, like, how big are meteors generally? You know what I mean? Like,
how big are they?
Yeah. I'm a little confused as to whether he's saying that the thing that they saw on the farm in the woods, the structure that they ran to, I'm blanking on the name. Structure's not a good word, but like a big shape thing that they saw that they ran to. Yeah. Is he saying that was a meteor? And if so, wouldn't everybody automatically know that? Perhaps not.
Well, maybe wouldn't it still be there?
That's what I'm saying.
Meteor's not going to take back off.
That's what I'm saying. I'm confused about how that plays in if that thing then went away. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, but I guess what they're saying is like when they saw it flying over the town or whatever.
Yes, for sure.
Crashing.
Right.
But whatever the structure they ran to and saw would be the meteor itself. Maybe the meteor crashed over there and they went,
they happened to see some other just big thing, or it was just kind of hysteria.
Yeah.
So
I don't think meteors are that.
That's what I was saying. I just wasn't totally sure whether that's what he's saying or whatever. And I was thinking out loud, basically. But, basically his theory, which makes sense, is that they were all hyped up because they saw this thing and they're in this just like agitated, anxious state. So they, ran and saw these two lights that were freaky, and then saw, of course, everybody's favorite cryptid, the barn owl.
Yeah.
That's what they say the Mothman is.
True.
Barn owls can be big.
Yeah, yeah.
A piece of evidence for it to be a barn owl that I think is weak. I mean, again, I don't know what but part of their argument for it being a barn owl is the fact that people who have seen this thing have said that it has the spade-shaped thing kind of behind its head.
Yeah.
They're like, well, a barn owl has a spade-shaped face, but it's going the wrong damned way.
It's not the right thing then.
It's going upside down then. It's like a heart shape.
Right.
Joe Nickel. So.
You skeptics, investigators, or whatever.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Yeah. So, and they say that the symptoms that people were exhibiting of some sort of like gas or whatever were, side effects of hysteria and anxiety.
Okay.
Which,
almost like panic attacks or something.
Yeah, basically. But again, it is, I mean, I don't really think there's a Flatwoods monster or whatever, but it is weird. It's strange to me that everybody would be having widespread panic attacks over a while. Like they're all having chest problems and stuff. It's strange. And it's strange for like a group of people
mass
to have
hysteria.
all said, it could be mass hysteria, but like, I don't know. It's weird to me.
It is weird.
So another theory that I think even though it's crazy, maybe it was some sort of weird government testing thing.
Right.
And that there was something that flew there and that did release some sort of gas. That did somehow affect them.
Yeah.
That's a theory that's out there as well. Even though I know it sounds bonkers, I think things like that maybe do happen sometimes, and maybe a little bit more often in the 50s when
It's weird.
When you didn't have to worry about documentation as much. Like now you would have to worry about like cell phone cameras and stuff like that. But I there are secret government programs.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
isn't there a thing though, like the Roswell crash in the 50s, and it's in Nevada?
It was only a few years before this.
Okay.
It was like
but people
1940 something.
Was it an alien craft or was it a government test? But it was happening in the middle of nowhere in Roswell, New Mexico.
Right.
West Virginia.
Right.
Like that's a weird place for there to be a government facility.
It's pretty rural, West Virginia. At least this area of it. I mean, they were in a field by a farm.
Right.
And they just like ran home and then ran to a farm. Like there's like not a whole lot going on in this area that they were in.
Okay. Those two things
in this
seem
one
to
in
go
particular.
hand in hand. Like sightings of unknown crafts and well, maybe it's the government. So it's not surprising, I guess, that it crops up in this story too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I wonder if that's like always the case. It's like it was the government or it was the an alien from the sky, a sky man.
And then that's where I can start to spin out and be like, and then that's perfect. They want, if there is a government thing going on, they do want people to sound crazy and discredited.
Yeah, they're not going to confirm it or deny it.
Of course.
Be like, whatever. It was the Flatwoods monster or whatever.
Yeah, like what those like backwoods dum-dums think. Sure, it's the Flatwoods monster, but really they're like, shit, okay, case number 69CW, like crashed in an area and we were seen or whatever. Yeah. That's a government person talking to a government person.
It weren't good.
Yeah.
Let's just put it this way, Barney. Me no likey. Putting out a cigarette.
And then another side to an idea of explanations and context and things are that because it's a rural area in the 50s, it's kind of set aside from a lot of different things in life. So if they saw anything out of the ordinary, people there at that time, their minds might have spun out in a lot of directions because they're not used to seeing a lot that's different from their daily life. Because it's not like there's the internet. They're not going out a lot. Like it's much more isolated time. Sure. So your mind could jump to more fantastical things because you're just literally not used to seeing other things. What those other things are, I don't even know. I'm not saying that somebody drove like a newfangled, like, Cadillac that they'd never seen before and they're like, it's an alien. But like they are a little bit more isolated and not sheltered exactly, but like not used to seeing different stuff kind of.
In the 50s. I mean, come on. Like people were pretty like connected.
Yeah, but like this is rural where this happened. Like it sounds like from what I read, they were very connected within their community. They're not like separated from the rest of the world.
This sounds almost exactly like what happened in Back to the Future. where he goes, right? The old farm man goes in the barn and the DeLorean's there.
Yeah.
And the kid's
my pine!
It's a spaceman. Shoot him, Pa, shoot him!
Yeah.
Freaking out. He doesn't know what anything is.
Yeah, totally, you're right.
That thing at least looks generally like a car.
Yeah.
You know? It drives away.
Yeah, they've seen cars.
They've seen cars, right? Yeah.
It's so good. And then another theory is that this was an alien. This one I thought was really interesting. Just interesting, not like I think it's real. That it was an alien and that suit, like the stuff behind its head, the weird skirt thing, the same way that if we were to go up into space, you wear like a spacesuit or whatever because you can't exist in their atmosphere. That's their version of a spacesuit.
Oh, fun.
And that the hissing was like something to do with the spacesuit.
Oh, like depressurizing or something wacky.
Yeah, totally.
That's pretty cool.
Right?
That suggests like being like very advanced.
Completely. That it's a theory where they were coming to visit and yeah, whatever.
That's like Alien. The movie Alien, they see like a giant structure that they call the space jockey.
I don't remember. I've seen it, but
Prometheus, it's revealed that big thing. It looked like it had like an elephant tusk. And a trunk.
Yeah.
And you find out that was a spacesuit for a different alien.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So similar.
That's rad.
Yeah. That's basically the story.
Wow, what's it called again?
The FLATWOODS Monster.
FLATWOOds Monster. Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I had never heard of it before at all. I know.
That's cool.
It's a huge deal. Like, a documentary just came out about it, like, not too long ago.
Huh.
There are books about, like, there's a lot of information. I just never heard of it before.
Yeah, never heard of that in my life. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, totally.
FLATWOOds Monster.
Yeah.
I like it.
So look up the two CSIs. That couldn't be more different.
I know. That's
the
so weird.
Civilian Saucer Investigation and the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry.
I bet they fight all the time. I bet they're fighting over the same Twitter handle.
I wonder if the Civilian Saucer Investigation is still live. It could be.
Maybe it is.
I know that the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry is still around.
I bet people for the Civilian Saucer Investigators or whatever show up at the skeptics meetings when they have like.
I'm like,
All right, cool. Well, I think it's gonna do it.
Yeah.
For us here on this week's episode of Guide to the Unknown. Out there watching, if you've enjoyed this, make sure you go online, subscribe to Talk Bomb on YouTube where you can watch the show.
Yeah.
Subscribe on Apple Podcasts where you can listen to the show. We're available everywhere that you can hear podcasts.
Yep.
And if you are enjoying this episode, then you probably already know that we have a little bit of a contest going on right now. If you go out there, if you review the show on Apple Podcasts, write a blog post, share it with people, and you make sure you let us know. Email gttupod@gmail.com. Keep us in the loop somehow.
Yeah.
You'll be entered to win Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah.
A 3-pack featuring the original freaky, whacked out artwork of Stephen Gamble.
Yeah, like if you can't remember what it is, just Google it and you'll be like, oh yeah, that thing.
Oh my God, it's those terrifying books.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're going to maybe announce those next week on the show.
Yes.
A winner.
Yeah.
How great would it be if we could do that?
That would be awesome.
Let's hope we're able to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's going to do it for us, guys. We'll see you next week with another brand new episode of Guide to the Unknown.
That's right. Until then, you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at GTTU Pod. GTTU Pod. And if you search for Guide to the Unknown on Facebook, you'll find our Facebook page, or you can go to facebook.com/GTTU Pod. And also we now have a Facebook group for our listeners.
Cool.
So you search for Guide to the Unknown podcast in Facebook and you hit the groups tab, wherever you need to do, ask to join, and you can join. It's a secret group so that nobody will see what's going on who's just in your feed. And we're going to talk about scary stuff and whatever in there.
Scary stuff. You can talk about your favorite episodes of Guide to the Unknown.
Yeah.
Things we may have left out.
Yeah.
Things that you'd like to see us cover in the future. It's going to be fun. We'd like to have a little community of like-minded weirdos in there. Also, this means that you are at the end of the first 5 episothis of Guide to the Unknown.
Congratulations, you've made it through.
I know, released simultaneously all at once. Guess what? Now you have to wait a week. This show comes out every Friday. So we're going to take the week off. We'll see you here again next Friday for another brand new episode.
That's right.
But until then, we hope you guys had a good time.
We sure do.
Yeah. So until then, we must travel
back to the netherworld. Go we. Good night.
Good night.
Ow. Oh, did you hear that?
What'd you do?
Cracked my neck. I'm fine. No, right? It was uncomfortable. I'm fine.
All that you did was turn a little bit. Don't you do yoga and stuff? It's weird.
Yeah.
All right, bye, guys. Oh, my wrist. Magic.
I thought you were going to say, Mama.